thought, this isn't normal. But I enjoyed it enormously. And then, quite by chance, I saw both of our guests playing together. About 2 months later at the Lewisham Art House. So immediately tried to book them. And it's taken till now to get them together. So please let me introduce the talking poetry of Stephen J. Fowler. And no doubt in using the viola to talk also, Benedict Taylor.
I first met myself upstairs. It was a book launch. But it wasn't really a book, it was like a large folio. It was made of concrete and it had concrete images on it. And I felt like when I met myself that evening, there was something wrong with me. I love dinosaurs, but that doesn't mean that they're still alive. I feel hot. What is the quickest way for me to cool down in this room? It's to knock over someone's wine. Paul Auster, the New York trilogy, slipped into a bag and chatted with my friend Dave. I'm hot, how am I going to cool down? The first step would be to take off my jacket. Should I go further? You have a friendly face. I feel like if I walked up to most of you and asked you if we've met before, most of you would say yes, even if we have never met before. Let's think about these strip lights. They are present. They're dominating the musicians. Throughout the entire evening, these lights will dominate every musician because they're changing colour. The light is now pink into an orange, into a yellow. It's fading into a green. It's moving into a deeper, lighter green, the colour of lime, and then emerald. Emerald is turning into blue. Blue is turning into white. White, the colour of the angels, that's turning back into blue with a small patch of yellow. And then pink is stripping through with blue around the edges. White is coming back into the centre with a bigger patch of yellow in the middle, framed by blue like some luminous hedgehog, and back into pink, and then red and orange. And I'm cold, how will I warm up? Yellow into green. The quickest way to warm up is for everyone to immediately hug me now. Green into blue, back into white, and then white turning back into yellow. Cheese and onion, ready salted, and then the sign for steak is smaller. If you observe the crisp signs right now, you'll see about 5 inches. Don't ask me how I know that measurement. Another 5 inches, a smaller steak, and then a longer one too. Card only, SPF bar, open pull. Yellow again, back into green, the sound of a viola. I met myself upstairs. I was launching a book, but it wasn't a book, it was concrete. And when I arrived here this evening, I met Mario outside, and I was in a daze. I did recognise you, Mario. I was hearing the choir, the sound of a heavenly choir above me, and I've been here in this area many times before. I've spent a lot of time in St. Bride's. This area used to be the area of London where they printed all the newspapers, so there used to be hundreds of people around here taking cocaine and fighting, because newsprint people were coke out of their fucking gourd. I've met some of them. I don't approve of that. I don't like cocaine. I'm anti-drugs. I'm quite clean living. I have my vices. I get hot sometimes. I launch books that aren't quite books. They're concrete. I watch lights. I read crisp packets. I talk to strangers and guess if I've met them before. I have my vices, but cocaine ain't one of them. And Benedict knows that because I get hot sometimes inside of my face. Dinosaurs are great, but they're all dead, and that's not my fault. The crisp packets are different sizes, especially the steak one. Back to St. Bride's. I arrived and I met Mario. I was waiting outside. I didn't get allowed into the venue yet. Who's going to arrive? It was the choir! I felt the choir above me, and I thought, where the fuck is the choir coming from? What a beautiful sound. And I did a little recording on my phone of this choir, and I thought, why have I recorded that? I'll never fucking listen to that again in my life. Pink into red, steak card only, SPF bar. I'm pretty sure we've met before. You've got a friendly face. I'm a little bit hot into green. The Paul Auster's New York trilogy. And I was listening to the choir and I was thinking, that is definitely not coming from the gig tonight. There's no way Stuart and Brian have got a choir on. That seems completely unlikely, but it's beautiful. I mean, we can like beautiful things as well as pretending not to play the viola. These things can happen at the same time. It's completely fine. These things can happen at the same time. Benedict just wanted me to... You just wanted me to scat while I'm talking. Yeah, I don't talk. You'll ruin it for me. Just like the intro at the start. Don't be too charming. I'm getting hot. So I was listening to the choir and I was thinking, God, if these are downstairs, I'm on for a hell of a gig. I was disappointed by that. But Mario and I were looking around and thinking maybe they're in the office block opposite. Ivor and the Violations on the radio. Not the Violators. The Violators is different things from Spawn. It's demon, devil. Spawn, demon, devil, don't the police. And so I was listening to the choir and I was thinking, okay, Mario thinks I didn't recognise him. I did. I was just distracted by the choir, making the audio recording, thinking I'm never going to listen to the audio recording. Where am I going to find the source of it? I go into St. Bride's and I'm led in and I get to look around and Benedict hasn't arrived yet and I'm looking around and I'm counting 8 small frames, 5 big frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm seeing the crisp packets and I'm trying to collect details. I'm seeing the wine knocked over and then the person goes and buys the wine for the person they knocked over. It's always very gentlemanly. I've seen them start fights in pubs before and I'm feeling kind of hot. And I felt like, what am I going to do with this choir? It's pursuing me. I'm seeming distracted. I have had a bit of a cold recently. I went to Japan, I went and read in the zoo, and then I felt different things. And I was in India over the summer, and I felt like these different things going on. But the choir was starting to mess with my brain. I was thinking, I want to find the source of this choir. So I went into St. Bride's and I thought, I locked a book. This is where I met myself. I locked a book upstairs here. Well, it wasn't really a book. It was kind of a piece of concrete. And I had this friend who didn't like experimental music. They thought, you know, it doesn't have rhythm. It doesn't have. It's atonal. I don't like it. And I thought, we'll get the Grenadier Guards, but we couldn't afford them. And I felt like, what am I going to do to cool down? Because I'm feeling kind of hot to sustain this over a long period of time. And then I thought, well, I didn't go to book on this, so I'll go upstairs. And I'm hearing the choral music, and I'm thinking, you know what? Beauteousness and the actual sense of beautiful aesthetic completion is attractive. But who goes to choirs? Single women, I imagine, go to choirs. Yoga and single. If I was single, I would go to yoga and choirs. And I'm going upstairs, and I walk in the room, and it's full of single women, I assume. I mean, that's rude. I shouldn't say that. I'm pulling things back from the past. I apologise. I mean, the nature of my performances is that I'm trying to talk with them I can actually think. So you have to forgive me. Let me drag some horrible words back from the 20th century. Let me just say that these horrible words, they're not my opinion. I'm just going to say them. I'm not going to say them. Don't worry. I'm actually quite in control. So I go into the room. Married women. Everyone's married. There are same-sex marriages. And I walk into the room and I'm thinking, what's going on? There's free biscuits. And then they start to sing. So I run out of the room. And I spent the summer in India and I was too hot. And I'm sure I've met you before. You've got a friendly face. Oh yeah, we met. Well, I knocked over the wine, but you buy personal wine after you knocked over it. It's absolutely fine. It's white now. Still the yellow patch in the middle is so annoying. What's the point in having small yellow LEDs that stay in the middle? They're gone now. It's green. 8 small frames, staked in a different size. 5 large frames behind me. I'm too hot now. Is this a lampshade? The Grenadier Guards, we couldn't afford them. It is the rehearsal of the City of London choir above us. You would have heard it in the background. This strange beauteousness creeping in. Like the person who was Graham's friend at the start who was thinking, I don't like this kind of music. Almost like there's some sort of battle here between us who are below and them who are above. They are winning that battle in the minds of the general public. Maybe that's a badge of honour for all of you. Not for me. I feel like that's a bad thing. So I went up to the person who was the conductor after meeting these 3 lovely ladies. And they were laughing at me, but I thought people laugh at me. I've changed. I'm not going to suddenly say, what are you fucking laughing at? I'm different now. And I was like, hey, what are you laughing at? And they said, we really like your outfit. And I thought, well, it just goes to show you. If you're just nice to people, they'll surprise you sometimes. I'm sure we've met before. I'm a bit hot. And as I went up to these ladies, I said, what are you doing at the choir? We're new to the choir. I said, oh, is it very hierarchical? And they laughed and went, not really. I said, do you want to come down to an experimental music gig after you finish the choir rehearsal? And they said, what's experimental music? And I said, well, it's hard to explain. Let's just say it's different than your choir. It's a bit weird, atonal, but it's cool. You have to go down many stairs. And when you get to the bottom of the stairs, you'll find these strip lights. And if you don't like the music, you can just watch the colours change and get lost in the feeling. And there'll be a very charming introduction. And my friend's going to pretend not to play the viola. And he's very hot. He's quite a handsome chap too, if it happens to be that you Bar single. And they looked intrigued, and they said, don't be afraid of the conductor. He's the head of music at King's College, Cambridge. I said, well, that makes me extremely intimidated of the conductor. And they said, no, he's very nice. So I went up to that man and I said, you know, there's an experimental music gig after the choir rehearsal. Do you want to come down to it? And he said, oh, that sounds quite interesting. I said, would you announce it to the room? He said, after we're done, I'll announce it to the room and we'll come down to the experimental music gig. And not one of them has come. But I tried. I talked to him. I've forgotten his name, but he seemed distinguished. And I felt a little bit hot. And maybe the reason why he didn't come is because he could see in my eyes what you can all see now, which is an obsession with wine being knocked over, with Paul Auster's New York trilogy, with spending the summer in India, with recognizing you and feeling like I'm too hot. And they could see in my eyes the reflection of blue turning into red, and red still having the edges of blue, like some sort of strange caterpillar from the prehistoric era. I love dinosaurs, but they're dead. It has nothing to do with me. He could see in my face my longing for Goodison Park on the last day that people ever played there, with my dad's ashes scattered on the pitch illegally, and the feeling that Everton would never play there again, but the woman will. And thinking, well, that's nice, because people have the experience of going to Goodison Park and they go to see it in the stadium. But well, really, people go? Their average attendance is 2,000, and the stadium has historically held 49,000 people. I remember being there as a child with my extended family and thinking, what's going on? Why people are swearing so much? But Scousers, they just swear as though it's nothing. A swear word to a Scouser is like water. Did you dad or Dalty Day? Why don't you fuck off, you fucking knob? And that, as a child, is extremely confusing. I'm looking at my dad like, why is people swearing, Dad? And he's like, I'm not your dad, I'm Benedict. I'm in the Beastie Boys, I'm in India, I'm in the summer, I'm getting too hot, I met you before. I'm worried. Why am I worried? Why am I anxious? I'm actually never anxious. It's weird how lacking in fucking fear I have. I have too much self-confidence. I just go up and talk to anybody and they sometimes misunderstand it. For example, sometimes I'll walk up to the conductor of King's College in Cambridge and say to him, do you want to come to an experimental music gig? And for some reason he says yes, but you know he means no. He doesn't want to come to a music gig. Why would you come to an experimental music gig if you can actually play a fucking musical instrument? Come here, it's very cool. Someone's taking pictures and they're putting them online, and I was going to put us on the radio. That is the device that's going to render me into the radio. At first I didn't believe either of the violations. Two viola players pretending not to play together, and an idea that somehow dinosaurs could come back to life through the medium of cinema. I don't mind Mr. DNA. I think about him all the time. Imagine a frog changing sex and maybe to extrapolate the pieces of DNA that didn't fit to put into a dinosaur and make new dinosaurs. I wish that was the fucking case. I would go. I know that in the films it always goes bad for them and they get eaten, but the actual experience of watching the dinosaurs would be well fucking worth it. I don't know why, but I feel so hot today. How do I get cold? Get myself in a nice ice bath, let my muscles recover. That would be great, like all the great cricketers of the time. And the boxing on Saturday night was fantastic. The Doncaster De La Hoya knocking out his best friend. It was fucking amazing. YouTube sucks up so much of my fucking life. Why do I spend so much on YouTube? It must be my anxiety. But I told you already that anxiety. We tried to get the Benedict cards, but we couldn't afford them. I have friends who don't like experimental music because they like rhythm, and rhythm is the point of music unless you want to be cool. If you want to be cool, then you don't have to fucking play any musical instrument. You can just fucking talk and it'll be entertained. Why would people always tell me to stop talking when people now are entertained by it? The light turns red and then orange and then yellow and it'll turn into green, so they can predict it already. There'll be a white strip through it. I better calm down and really get ill. Crisp baggies are different sizes because the words are different sizes. Ready, solid. So I'm going to go cheese and onion steak. Steak's always going to be shorter. It's only 5 letters. What the fuck's wrong with you? Of course the sign's going to be shorter. It doesn't really even matter that much. I'm so hot. I rebel down. I will only call me down. There's 5 big frames behind us, Benedict, and these little pictures of the sail. The Orkney series. And there's something in memoriam of people too. And there's 2 different hats at the back. If you knock over wine, you've got to buy the person of the wine you knocked over a new glass of wine. Why would you not do that? It's so rude. But people who did that tonight, that was fantastic. And Paul Auster, the New York trilogy, and my friend Dave filming, and Benedict spinning in India this summer. Both of us have got things to celebrate. Life's so fun. There's dinosaurs. They're back. They create dinosaurs again. That's fantastic. I've always wanted to meet a dinosaur. If you look at my fucking t-shirt, you'll see. And sometimes when you meet a Scouser, you think this is a bit much. Oh, they're an awful sentimental people, Scousers. As headbutt you as soon as they would pick you up from the street. You know what will tell you about how good Scousers are? A Scouser! Nobody knows Scousers better than a Scouser. They're a sentimental bunch. I can say that because my dad was a Scouser. He's already told you a Scout in his ashes. And you probably think that's some sort of sentimental personal detail. But it doesn't mean nothing to me! We're all gonna die! And I mean that in a good way. It means your suffering's gonna end. Actually, death is a fantastic release. Every dog, every animal you've ever met, they die. Think about that and it'll
worse than people. I don't know why that is, but if you think about it, it is worse. Every dog you've ever met's gonna die. That dog you met yesterday in the park, he's gonna die. Someone's gonna have to watch that dog die. Do you think someone's gonna incinerate him and scatter his ashes on a famous former bitch? I don't think so! So why are you worried about my dad? Leave it! I don't think you need to worry about my dad like he's fine, you know, houses can look after themselves, can't they, Benedict? Why am I so hot? Somebody calm me down! I'm sick of myself! But people have asked me to talk, it's not my fucking fault. Do you think the people around me don't tell me all the time, why do you fucking talk so much? I'm trying! I'm 41 years of age, I'm trying to stop doing it, what's wrong with you? Why are you encouraging me? I love you. Why are you pretending not to play the fucking viola? I don't want to be funny, I'm trying to be clever. Why are you just making me be funny all the time? I fucking hate poetry, I'm fucking sick of it. You know what's better than most poems? This! And I'm fucking making it up! If you can make up something quick and say it's a poem and it's better than most poems, then why the fuck do people read poetry? You know what? They don't! Nobody reads poetry! What am I doing with my life? That's gone too far. Every dog you've ever met's gonna die. I think we know each other. Someone many already sorted. What's the fucking other one? Cheese and onion? Steak! Steak in the fucking middle of it! How does anyone not buy that? Who doesn't like minimalism? 5 letters? The strip lights are always fucking changing.
Oh!
Let's take a short break, of course, in the time on the manor. And during the break, a dark figure will pass among you, begging for